Please subscribe.
Hello, welcome back again for some more drawing fun with me. The man in the hat is back. Well, this week we are going to be doing a piece of artwork that resembles that of Cubism, which was a very cool art style that someone very famous that you may know the name of. Who is it? It is Pablo Picasso. You may have heard of him before. He was a big time cubist or cubism artist, and we're going to be doing a piece of artwork today that sort of looks a bit like cubism. So get ready, get your paper organised, whatever size it is, something to draw with, something to colour with, and let's get creative. Okay everybody, now that you've got your supplies ready, you've got your piece of paper. Now there's a couple of things I forgot to mention with materials. What you will need to do this activity is a ruler, a marker. If you don't have a marker or a Sharpie, you can just use a grey lead, that's okay, or a different coloured texture, that doesn't have to be black. Then you're going to need a couple of different sized rounded objects, like I've got a tin here, that's a tin of yeast, and a tin of tuna, and I've got a lid here from just a Tupperware container. So you're going to be needing those things as well. Different size rounded objects. So I'm going to be tracing around these for this activity, for this cubism type piece of artwork. So you will be needing 3 different sized rounded objects. If you've got them in your house, have a look around. Tins of things, like I said, I've got a yeast, tuna and a lid off a Tupperware container here. So I'm going to be using those. Now the first thing we want to do, clear everything off my paper there, and I'll put those to the side and grab those when I need them. First thing I want to do is start drawing some circles around my page. Now different size circles, as I said. I'm going to be going around these straight away with a Sharpie, so I need to be quite careful how I do this. Hopefully that'll line up again on the other side. Yep, not too bad. There's a nice big circle. Okay, so we'll be tracing around these things. Different sizes. I can't do too many of these really big ones because I don't have a lot of room on my paper, so I'll do a few of these sized sorts of tins here and the tuna one that I've got, and then also, don't worry if there's little imperfections like that, that's fine. And then I'm going to do one overlapping here, so I'm going to overlap a circle there. So around we go, all the way around, very carefully. Make sure the tin doesn't move, or the round object you've got doesn't move, otherwise you're going to end up with not a circle. So let's go with a few more of these. So actually I haven't done these ones yet, so do a few of these ones. They're actually nice, these tall tins, because they are easy to hold on to and makes it a little bit easier to trace around, I think. So I'm just going to do that one there. Now you can go around half of the tin and then come around this side and do it around the other side, half and half. So these are a little bit wonky. So you can see it's actually a bit of a challenge to trace around things sometimes, especially when you've got a Sharpie, because it actually is a bit thicker down the bottom than a nice sharp grey lead, and then sometimes they don't match up perfectly. It doesn't really matter, it's okay. So, and then I might do one that's sort of off the page a little bit. I might go back to the tuna tin, and I'm going to put one here that's off the page a bit. Don't go and trace onto the table, but just on the paper part, I'm just going to trace around the tin on the paper bit. So I've got like a circle that's been half cut off the page there. And if you want, you can have a few more overlapping, that's okay. So I could probably do one here, I'd say. And go around all the way, something like that. And so not looking too bad at the moment. Probably could have been a little bit better on my tracing. I'm going a little bit fast. So go nice and slowly so you don't end up having these sorts of little imperfections. But you know what, no big deal anyway. And I think that's all I'm going to do for circles. I don't want to go too crazy and have too much on the page. So that'll be it for my circles. Now what I want to do here is actually get my ruler now, and I need to start drawing some lines cutting through these circles. So the first thing I'm going to do is, it doesn't really matter where they are, they can be anywhere. So you can go straight down like that. You can go from, say, this corner over here. You can go from a corner, if you wish, down the page like that. Something like this. Just be careful. I've got a placemat underneath mine. That's probably a good idea, especially if you're using a marker, because you see I just drew on the placemat a little bit here, but that's okay. It's not on my desk or my table, depends where you're working. And then I'm going to draw one over here, sort of going through there like that. I'm going to draw another one coming a bit down through here. So you can put these lines wherever you like, really. It's completely up to you where these lines go. So I'm going to have another one coming down through here like this. And the idea is that where these lines cut through, so I'll show you what I mean with the colouring part. Wherever these pieces are, each piece now becomes a different colour. You don't want to have the same colours right next to each other. But you'll see what I mean. I'm going to do a little bit of colouring, and then to give you an example, and then I will speed things up so you can see what you need to do here. So what else should I do? So let's do a couple more lines. Maybe have one coming down like this, there, and that's looking pretty good. Now you can go with lots more lines, but the more lines you put in, the more little sections you're going to have to colour in. So I'm going to leave it at that and now start adding some colour. So for this activity, I think I'm going to go with some textures. I've got lots of different coloured textures here. There's a whole bunch of different colours there, and you don't have to use too many colours, but what you can do is choose complementary colours. For example, complementary colours are things like yellow and purple. They're complementary colours. You can use orange and green. They're complementary colours. Actually, that's not right. That's not a complementary colour. What am I doing? Orange and blue are complementary, and green and red are complementary. That's better. What was I thinking? So there's some complementary colours there that you could use to do your design, or you could just choose a couple of colours to do this, but I suggest you do at least 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 4 or 5 different colours, just to make things look great. Now, and obviously you can leave some of these sections white if you want to as well, but the idea here is to get some pretty cool colours happening. I like actually pink and purple together. They're a pretty cool pair of colours that I like to see together. I would like to use maybe some yellow in with that. So I'm sort of just deciding what colours I'm going to involve in my design right now. And I also really like orange. So I'm going to go with those 4 colours and see what happens with this. Now let's have a look at how we need to do this colouring in. So for example, each little section, like I said, is going to be a different colour, or it could be white. So let's start here. In this section of the circle here, where all the overlapping is, it's cutting a little shape for me there. So what I want to do is colour this in pink. Now again, whatever colours you choose are up to you. So here's my colouring in. I kind of like the effect of what textures do when you overlap on the colouring. You can see where I'm overlapping a little bit there. That sort of makes the pink even darker where I've overlapped. So that's one section. You can see, put my lid back on so my textures don't dry out. I'll be going back to pink shortly. What you could do if you wanted to, take the one colour and start putting pink wherever you want pink to be. You could do that all at once if you like. For this activity, I'm just going to show you, so I'm going with purple now. I'm going to show you individual colours so you can see what we need to do here. So you're going to keep colouring this thing in the sections. So where all this overlapping goes on, you put, it's created a shape for me, and then I just put whatever colour I want inside that shape. You can see this one here, it's been intersected by that line, by this circle, by this line. So what I do there is I colour in where the shapes are intersecting and leaving me with a different shape other than the circle that I created. So you can see what I mean by having a look at that, what we need to do here. Now, even in the parts where there's no circle, even inside here, where there's just these lines, then it hits this circle here, that's another shape. And there's a tiny little bit of circle in there, that'll be a different colour too. So what I would now do here is in this yellow bit, I would colour that in to the edge of that circle, along that line there, to where that circle overlaps. And there, whoops, sorry, move my paper. That becomes another shape and another colour. So it's pretty cool. Comes up with a pretty cool looking Cubism design. I'm going to speed things up for you. Actually, I'll do one more colour because I haven't used my orange yet. And I'll show you where orange is going to go in here. This little part of the circle here that's intersected by those lines. Now you can get an idea of what's going on here. So what I want to do now is speed things up a bit so that you don't get bored watching me colour in. I hope you enjoy this activity. You're going to colour the whole thing in. Like I said, if you wanted to, you can leave some of them with white inside if you like. But I think I'm going to do pretty much my whole page in colour so it looks awesome. Although white can look pretty awesome too in some of the pieces. I hope you enjoy this activity, girls and boys, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.
Flintheart. Please subscribe.